Now let's check the graph of this function. Please put your calculator in the polar form and try to get this shape out of that. Okay, so you can put like r plus minus radical 9 cosine 2 theta, and this is a ribbon-like shape and self-intersecting itself. Okay, and you're using again polar form r and theta and generally how we do it, if you want to do it by hand, so essentially this part here, x-axis, is corresponding to theta equals 0. Okay, so you have those rays emanating from the origin. Okay, all of those rays and corresponding different theta values. Okay, like theta equals pi over 2 here, right? Theta equals pi, theta equals 3 pi over 2, and then for each choice of theta, you're going to get a value of r. So that r is going to be exactly how many units you're supposed to walk on this ray, whatever the theta it corresponds to. For example, r squared equals 9 cosine 2 theta. When theta equals 0, that means I'm on the x-axis, positive part of the x-axis. Okay, and 0 takes you all the way to cosine 0, right? Cosine 0 is 1, so r squared equals 9. So r is 3, so that's why the curve passes through this point, okay? All right. So, for example, if theta equals pi over 4, okay, let me just write that down here. If theta equals pi over 4, then r squared equals 9 cosine pi over 2. Okay, 9 cosine pi over 2. Okay, so that means cosine pi over 2 is 0. R is going to be equal to 0. So let me just graph what cosine pi over 2 is. Let me just clean this part as well, because that's a different stuff. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let me just erase them all, and now let's look at the theta equals pi over 4 ray. And as you see that on pi over 4, I'm just walking 0 units, so I end up being at 0. So starting from here, see this was theta equals 0. I'm moving in this direction and ending up at 0. And if you just keep graphing that, and you may so like go into you may go in this direction. Okay. So when r is a negative value for some reason, for some ray theta equals something, right? So then you're walking in the opposite direction. So if, for example, let's say I have theta equals pi over 3 here, okay? And for theta equals pi over 3, r squared equals 9 cosine 2 pi over 3. You can go ahead and calculate this, but it's a negative number. So I'm going to walk negatively on this. So I'm going to end up somewhere here, okay? Because starting from 0, this direction is positive, and if r is negative, you go in the other direction. So that's why you move on to below x-axis. Anyway, so let's not make this video long, but please practice this by yourself and make sure you're able to even graph some part of this graph by hand by taking sample values. In other words, sample rays to start with. And first and second quadrants would be like good choices to start with, okay? All right. This is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye.